Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Happy Wednesday. I have two characters coming in for you on today. And the bad part about they are eager to get on, just to holler at you. But until they get on, I want to go ahead with an inspirational insight for today. This is my inspirational insight. It came to me today and last week from another listener. They said, hey, I really like your information that you share. You have a story, you have life experience. Why don't you share it with the youth? And I share with them is that everything I do is youth focused. I like talking to the youth. I like getting with the youth. I even like to get with the youth to tell them, hey, the people I bring on my show, these are examples of what you can do in life. All of us that make the right decisions in life, but we did not let our past dictate our future. Some of us gone through things a little bit different than others because that's what life is. Life takes us through many different journeys, and that's okay. But you cannot allow the choice that you made at a young age to prevent you from living your life and going on to do great things. So on today, for my youth, I want you to know you can achieve if you believe, and if you believe, you can achieve. Don't let no one stop you. Don't let no one get in your way. That's my inspirational insight for today. All right, we about to roll. Let me get ready to invite these clowns so y'all can see who we get. They backstage smiling up a storm. But here we go. Mr. Jerry Prentiss and Mr. Antonio Bratcher. Why Bratcher trying to look hard like Tupac?
Man.
I tried. You said I was smiling, so I had to change it up.
Hey, Young Jesus, little brother, man.
Young Jesus, little brother. Hey, gentlemen, welcome, both of you all. I thank y'all for being here on today. I want y'all to introduce yourselves to the audience. I know everybody see Bratcher about once a month or every other month, but I still want him to introduce himself. And Mr. Jerry, I want you to introduce yourself. But Mr. Jerry, let me give you a little bit of advice. All right. We make 30-second clips, 20-second clips. Can you bring your clips together? Because your clips be like 2 minutes long and I can't use them. I want people to be able to hear you when we turn this into small clips. You know what I'm saying? All right.
I got you.
Because I want it, because last time I couldn't use none of this stuff because it was way too long.
Well, it's your fault because you didn't explain it.
I should explain how to answer a question.
I don't know what a question is. So therefore, I didn't understand your lingo, sir. But to the audience, I'm Jared Prentiss.
I'm just messing with you, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I got you. I see why your camera keep going in and out. It's 20 seconds. Got to pay for more time, sir. But I'm Jared Prentiss, licensed professional counselor with the mental health service provider designation. Father of triplet 7-year-old boys. Married for about 9.5 years to my lovely wife. Nice to meet you.
I think we lost Woods.
No, I'm here. I took myself off so y'all can have the spotlight.
I don't need to be in the limelight.
Wi-Fi down. I ain't gonna be able to talk Jerry.
Bro. Don't talk about the Wi-Fi.
Okay, my bad. Antonio Bratcher. I'm a state director of residential services for several residential programs in the state of Tennessee. Other than that, that's it. That's all you get from me. I ain't gonna do all that what Jared did.
I can be a trendsetter, man, but you ain't got necessarily to follow me.
That's what's up, man. Hey, welcome, man. Let me ask you, I always give y'all something in the background. I'm going to let y'all do something in the beginning, man. Well, I want y'all to give the audience an inspirational insight. Just a little nugget.
Go ahead, trendsetter.
To inspire my people.
Bro, hazing us up. Man, I didn't know that Woods was a poet, man. He was trying to rhyme at the end, man.
Yeah,
if you achieve, then, you can believe. And if you believe, you can achieve. And this is your insight for the day. Hey, baby. I was like, this guy. But motivational insight. I'm a firm believer of life is about choices. Make the best one for you. So I always make the best choice for yourself.
Appreciate Bratcher's on you.
I'm be short to the point, just like Jared, man. Aim to inspire, man. Every day, man, try to inspire somebody, no matter what you do, whether it's in the workplace, in your personal life, or just meeting a stranger on the street. Always aim to inspire. You never know who's watching you and who's inspired by how you move.
So true. I appreciate that, gentlemen. You all, both of you, inspire me to become better, man. I like having y'all on, because I know
it was a struggle. It was a struggle. You won't eat.
What's the struggle, man? What's the struggle?
Inspiring you.
Yeah.
We want to aspire to inspire.
We
did it. It's hard with folk like you, man.
Hey, it's all good, you know.
I was on a serious note though, man. I actually, me and Jared was chopping it up a couple of days ago, and I did, give you some big props, man, about you, man, how focused you are and sticking with it, man, on some of the things you talked about years ago. Saying you followed through, man.
He did. He honestly did. And I was telling you when I came on, man, I'm proud of you, man. You upgraded from the last time that Bratcher and I was on together, man. And you started earlier. We didn't start an hour late, so you were more punctual.
I had a can connected to a wire, trying to
yeah, man. So you're doing big things, man. The live stream, it's actually working first time. No, seriously, bro.
Yeah,
and you've been consistent with it.
Yeah,
you've been consistent. One thing I learned from somebody that used to work for a while when Mr. Bratcher and I worked together is making sure that you be fair, firm, and consistent.
Yeah.
And it appears to me that you are trying to uphold this tradition, man, of being fair, firm, and consistent. Sticking to the time frame that's there and being firm. And you're trying to be consistent by starting on time and doing what you're supposed to do. Having a little validity there. Just
you know what about you, Jared, that I like and I almost want to kick you off stage at the same time? You're the only person I know that give a compliment and an insult all at the same time.
At the same time. At the same time.
Yeah, that's him. That's him.
Yeah, man.
That's all good, man. I appreciate y'all, man. For real, though. All jokes aside. Like I said, when I knew y'all was coming on, it was a good time to be had, man. Good time to be had. So, hold on. I'm about to start something before we go into it.
All right.
Now, you know what? Let's go here. Let's talk about fathers raising young children in today's society. And I'm going to let y'all
His Wi-Fi went out again.
Who want to go first?
Man, let me take the lead on this one since Jared started. I will keep going back and forth, tag team. All right. I guess so. You really didn't give a whole. Are we still on? I'm everybody gone.
Man, you on? I just gave you the stage, bro.
My bad. Well, I ain't used to this, man. You really didn't give a whole lot of context, so we just can shoot
father raising young children in today's society. Did you get out the TV?
How you know what I'm doing, man? The playoffs on, so
I can see it in the window.
That's how important you are, though. I'm watching the playoffs and doing this at the same time because you're important. But the only thing I would add, man, it's a definitely a big difference from and again, man, I'm 46 years old, so the way that I raised my children, trust and believe, I learned a lot from my father, my mother as well too. But since we're specifically talking about fathers, actually my father's birthday is tomorrow. Rest in peace. We'll be celebrating him tomorrow. But it's just a big difference. But definitely, taking a lot of the things away from the way that we was raised and reared. But the things that was used the way when we was raised, man, don't apply and work for the kids today. So you definitely gotta stay up on your game, stay educated, stay informed, because the kids of today are totally different than the kids of yesterday. So, parenting is almost like employment, man. If you don't keep your tools sharpened, man, this ain't nothing that you just can, like learn off the cuff. You got to be educated to parent appropriately.
Jared.
No. I think today's society is just totally different, especially with the political climate that we're in today. Um, but even excluding the political climate, uh, the way I raise my children is based on standards and values, belief systems that I inherited from my dad. But at the same time, it's a little bit different. My dad is a country man. He's from the country. Like when I say country, I mean they had cows and horses. Um, my dad would walk miles to go to school,
Yeah.
that type of deal. Um, but he had his work ethic was beneath no man. Uh, I can't think of another man that had more work ethic than my dad. So my dad to me, man, is like a role model in various aspects. So because of that, I want to teach my kids some of the same things that I learned from him. Um, we're talking about raising children in today's society. So I think today's society is different than it was when I was a kid. Um, my dad had been, like I said, a country man and raising me back then. We didn't have all the technology back then that we do now. It was more so family bonding because we had to. We didn't have all the electronics, the computers, the cell phones, things of this nature. So now I kind of have to force my kids to do things with me. Get away. Today we played a game called Skip Bo, a little card game. Invited my wife over so that she could. She left working on the computer to come over there and learn the game too, so we can play as a family. I think we just need more of that nowadays. My dad being a hardworking country man, he's used to doing everything on his own. He was raised to get the job done. He didn't ask for much help. With me, with my sons in today's society, I try to ask them to help me out, um, so we can kind of form a different relationship. Again, my dad's like a role model to me, but there's certain things that I would change just because of today's climate. Yeah, I
That's
can
what's
add
up.
more later, but I'll go back to Bratcher if he wanted to add something first.
I just can't believe you didn't grow up with Wi-Fi. You didn't have Wi-Fi when you was growing up?
No, man, we ain't had Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi. We ain't had none of that.
Me
Uh,
neither. Me neither.
uh, no, man.
Yeah.
Hey, the thing I can say about that, man, is fathers. I tell people all the time, man. I always say my brother's daddy wasn't there.
All right.
But
Whew.
man,
Man, like a
I
therapy session
had
for
a
this.
I had a positive role model in my grandfather, man.
Yeah.
My grandfather didn't play that, and he was very soft spoken. But when he spoke, you knew what he meant. He wasn't gonna
Right.
raise his voice, and he was old school. He didn't chew his words twice. Believe
Right.
that he did choose words twice, and then also, man, growing up, man, I had that village. I had uncles.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what the lifestyle was, but when it came to discipline and how you supposed to role model, they done the best they could. Then I had some older uncles that was great role models. Then also, man, we had men in the community that was about the business. You know what I'm saying? And they set the example. And it puts me to this question right now. Let me ask you, and I always go back to that time. Back then, men were men,
Mm-hmm.
period. When did we get to the society where we identified men in a man that's masculine? And you got all these additional adjectives to talk about a man when 20, 30 years ago, that was automatic when you talked about a man. What changed?
I mean, evolution, growth, education.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, going back to what Jared just described about his pops, and my pops wasn't a country man, but definitely very, hardworking and some of the same similar characteristics. But at the end of the day, man, like we, when you talk about access to internet, access to education, people being able to know more about everything, you know what I mean? It's a gift and a curse, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
when you're more informed, more educated, I mean, you start getting different variations of whatever, whether you're talking about men, women, cars, I mean, with growth comes growth. I don't know no other way to describe it,
Change. Yeah.
Let me
With
say
growth
this.
comes a lot of change.
I was just about to say that with growth there comes change, and sometimes that change is not necessarily a good change.
True.
Sometimes growth allows a different option, a different choice. It can look like this. It can look like that. You know what I'm saying?
But Woods, according to who though? You know what I'm saying? Like, but
I mean, both of them, all of them is according to who, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because we, again, man, guys, I mean, we can talk about sports, we can talk about music, whatever. Every generation is always gonna
be different,
look down on the change of that the next generation. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. And let's go to music right here.
I got one. That's around his neck right
right
now.
You say it again, Jared.
When you finish, I got one that's talking about what's around his neck right now.
What, Jaws?
Your neck, Woods.
This ain't my neck. This is a shirt. You got around your neck, buddy. But what I was saying about the music, man, like let's going back to what you said about the masculinity, Woods. Man, if you ask anybody right now, they will hands down probably say that music, particularly rappers, are less masculine than old musicians, right? But I promise you, I go get the receipts. If you go pull some old records of the Kool and the Gang, I mean, keep naming some of the groups, they dress more feminine than the rappers today. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but people spin their narratives, man. You know what I mean? Just like the NBA, where they say that the NBA players are less masculine right now. That's the narrative they gonna spin. But I guarantee you, one thing, like with the old musicians and the old basketball players, you didn't have a camera in your face 24/7. You didn't have access to Twitter and to be able to express your emotions at the drop of a dime. Does that mean that the players are less masculine because they are able to just express themselves more freely than the old players? But I'm telling you, whatever you see today, I promise you've seen it 100 years ago. You know what I mean? It's just different variations of it, but go pull out some old album covers and see who dressed more feminine, Kool and the Gang or Young Thug.
Hey, let me tell you something. I'm not going to go there with you because I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you, but let me tell you this.
Boundaries.
but when it comes to Prince,
right,
that was my boy. That was my boy.
Yeah.
You know
that's
what I'm
thinking about the whole time.
That's my dog. You couldn't tell me nothing was wrong with Prince.
Right. So, but it's about perception. It's about what people force you to believe.
Prince had as many women as any pimp on the street.
Yeah. That's my dog.
And he wore their clothes. And he wore their clothes too.
Even the pumps.
Rest in Prince.
Pumps and all. Hey, shirts versus blouses.
Go ahead. You about to say something about my neck?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm talking about not your neck, man. You ain't got much of that. But the blue thing that's hanging down from
do you have a neck?
The sick one. I do.
All I see is a chin.
Yeah. You gotta look underneath. But
go ahead, man.
So Phi Beta Sigma, man. So when you pledged back in the 90s?
Spring 91.
Spring 91.
Spring 91.
Okay. What you think? Okay. All right. Would you say that the people that just crossed in 2025 pledged the same way you pledged back in 91?
Of course not. No.
And that's a testament to Bratcher's point. Mm-hmm. And each generation, the line that precedes you is going to say, we pledge differently from you. Whether we pledge harder from you or not, we at least pledge differently than you. And so the generations, our fathers might say that times were different than they are now when we've become fathers.
For
you're talking about masculinity.
For lawful purposes, Phi Beta Sigma do not participate in the act of hazing.
I never said Hayes.
He never said nothing about Hayes.
I'm going there. Go ahead.
I got you. I see. I said pledge. I didn't say Hayes. I don't know what y'all do. You know.
He don't either. But go ahead.
I see.
But
But the fact that
he
you
the one that
said,
won grad chapter 3 years ago.
hey, the fact that you said, I don't know who he talking to. Hey, but I guess he's making a distinction right now, which means that he in his feelings, like Drake. But the fact that you immediately said, "Of course," with a little scowl on your face, shows us that there was a difference, in your opinion, between when you pledged 91 versus the people in 2025. So when you're asking about this change and growth and what's masculine versus today, times have just changed, man.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that we looked up to as men, excuse me, back then, our fathers were deceased, gone, incarcerated. All of us have been active in our sons and daughters' lives. All of us that's on this call right here. So whether our dad was in our life or not, we realized what we wanted to learn and glean from him or what we didn't want to take from him. And it helped mold us into the guys that we are today.
Absolutely.
So we can be just as hard as the next person, but we can be softer too and not just solely hardcore. So that we can reach.
I'm a kind, gentle soul.
I understand the lies, but the point I'm making is,
you say standardized. That's what
I said. We understand.
I got you. I got
the lies. Standardized is not a word, sir.
Hey, that's what I thought you said. But hey,
Dr. Woods, standardized is not a word.
I know standardized is not a word. Talking about standardized. Okay,
gotcha. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying, man. I think that even I was talking about being able to not be the retro masculine term. You still can be masculine and manly, but also be softer, so that your kids can get a better understanding of you. Honestly, man, I wanted to say this. my mom was hell. She was. My mom was hell. And I think people, for me, just being totally transparent, I would fear my mom, but respect my daddy. And fear my mom because of all the whoopings I used to get. And I got whooped from both of them, just being honest. It is what it is. But it was more so respect of how my daddy held himself, and not trying to impart fear on me. But it made me want to learn more from him. It made me want to seek out more information from him and the way he did it. So certain things I learned, I wanted to implement it as a father. But I also wanted to modify it ever so slightly because I wanted to be able to have a softer side with my sons. So the things that I learned from my mom, me growing up with both parents, I wanted to make sure that I could have both sides, both parents, and what they imparted in me and impart that into my children.
That's what's up. I think role models is very important. I'm going to post this picture up here, and I want y'all to read it and tell me your thoughts on it, okay?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts of that? This is what we do.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess so. I mean, first of all, I think that's something real good to share. But like, I don't know if it's the wording that's a little bit different where it say, he mentors you, proving your past doesn't define your future. But I do think your past defines your future. And I think his past did define his future. He just did something positive with his past, if that makes sense. But yeah, your past definitely defines your future. Now, maybe maybe they're trying to say your past doesn't dictate your
It
future.
don't dictate your future.
Yeah, which is a little bit different, but
Exactly.
it definitely defines your future, because I don't think he would be doing what he's doing right now if it wasn't because of his past.
That's what molded. That's what molded him to want to
Mm-hmm.
become different, because he realized, being in that system, that's not where he wanted to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And,
He could realize it's systemic failure, man, especially for people of color. And so, even going back to the last question about today's society, and I was talking about the political climate. Look at today's, in which they're getting rid of the DEI.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's dealing with diversity, anything dealing with equality, inclusion, anything of that nature, they're trying to. Certain politicians are trying to get rid of. But if this is supposed to be the greatest country ever, everyone wants to get here. Why would you eliminate the inclusion? Why would you delete the diversity?
easy.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Easy, because they don't believe in it.
I understand, but
Period.
going back to that,
too. But I mean, this is a question that anybody can answer. We can be all day arguing both sides. To you argue the point that if it's supposed to be a country for everybody, why inclusion can't be?
mm-hmm.
Good point. But then you got somebody on the other side be like, we don't need the inclusion. You are who you are. Come and be in America. You knew that before you came to America.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got different people that can argue any point. And not saying I agree with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, and then you obviously you can look through this election. People fought hard to make sure there was no inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They fought hard to get rid of it. It's sad, but it's true. Now, the reason that they came about and they voted for whatever, they voted for one thing and wound up getting something else. That's what I think. Go ahead.
I think that they voted for what they wanted to hear, because our current president, people knew about Project 2025 and how he endorsed it.
Yep.
And so it was written. It was written. Now, some people are just very ignorant. Ignorance just simply means not knowing. When you start talking about these tariffs, who gonna pay the tariffs?
The people.
Us. We're gonna pay for that. We're gonna pay for that. People talk about, him imposing these tariffs. We are the ones that's gonna suffer.
And I'm a man that like cheese, and I went to the store earlier this week, and I seen the tariff already hitting.
Hey, I know one that ain't gonna bother you, Woods, man. I bought a bottle of lotion, man. It was $12. I said, hey, I said Woods Woods smart. He's smart. He wasn't using lotion because he knew the prices was gonna go up.
Right. He didn't want to get conditioned to it, huh?
Yeah, $12 for a bottle of Jergens. Jesus.
Ooh, Lord Jesus.
Man, I was tripping on eggs.
Let me add a disclaimer. I was at Walgreens, so they add their own tariffs too. So
they got their own tariffs.
Yeah, but that's still a lot for a bottle of lotion.
It is. But you still got it though, right?
You got to get in a little 12.
I did, because I can't be like you was, man. I gotta greased up, man. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Can't be old Ashley Larry over here.
Let me ask y'all this though, and I don't even want to get deep into the politics, because I might run for president one day, so I want everybody to pull up this footage and
Jesus for president.
Stop. Yeah, Jesus for president. But do y'all think though, like even with the DEI stuff, man, just going back to what we talking about, evolution and change and all that type of stuff, man, when you look at, I always go back to sports and all that. They don't change the rules in sports because they bored. They change the rules in sports because athletes are getting better. You know what I'm saying? and if you don't change the rules, you know what I'm saying, all of a sudden the athletes, become super athletes. You know what I'm saying? And so when you realize
unstoppable.
Unstoppable. So and I want to be clear. I'm not taking a stance. I'm not agreeing with, but I'm just saying though that when the I guess so. The DI, when they look at us or whoever fits in that, and then what's called is no longer the minority. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And really, it's the majority.
The minority no more.
and got resources and got, education, and the playing field has changed. So some people gotta, when people in power, they're gonna change the rules because hell, they gotta stay in the game somehow, so
Correct.
that's how I look at it. And the thing is, at the end of the day, guys, man, like, just talking about going by how we raise our kids and how, I mean, this brotherhood that we got right now, that, man, with the resources out there, no matter how much people change the rules, man, as long as you stay educated ahead of the game
Hmm.
and around the right people, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't do it by yourself. It's always powers and numbers. Man, they can change any rule, but we just got to be smarter than the people that's changing the rules. They changing them
Gotcha.
for a reason.
Let me throw
Hey,
something to
pick
you.
it. I want to piggyback on what you said after Woods finish.
Go ahead, pick it back now because I'm about to change the topic.
I figured that. So just piggybacking on what you said about the sports, um, and how people change the rules. The tush push by the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of people can't. A lot of teams cannot defend the tush push. Jalen Hurts squatting over 600 pounds. They cannot
They can't.
stop him.
Yeah.
He can do that one play 4 times,
He's going to get it.
and he's gonna get a first down
Yeah.
every time. And so now they're trying to
Outlaw it.
overrule or overturn that so that that will be illegal to have a tush push. When you saw LeBron join a certain team, and even before LeBron, the big three, even before LeBron ever joined a team, when he had two superstars, teams started saying, well, if we can't beat them, then join them.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to be part of the masses. They wanted to be the bullies. One superstar per team. If that one team kept winning, i.e., the Bulls, well, we need to start stacking the deck. And so they continued to do this and change and modify. But then when they started saying other teams started doing, hold on, let's put a pause. A couple of years ago, was it Chris Paul tried to go to the Lakers?
Yeah, they stopped it.
And they stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, it'll be too many superstars on one team.
Yeah.
We're going to stop this. But since then, other superstars have gone to other teams.
And that's the bad part about stopping one thing or a team. All you're doing is allowing somebody else to build. And then when they build, sooner or later, you're going to try to stop them. All right, let me ask y'all this. Here's one for you. Entrepreneurs in the correction field. This is one that y'all threw out that I wanted to bring up. Entrepreneurs, males in the correction field, especially from African Americans' perspective, whether they're doing consulting work or whether it's doing therapy. Why do you find it is important in this industry?
So I think by Mr. Bratcher, myself, and yourself actually working all of the Davidson County Juvenile Detention Center at one point in time, we all realized that the majority of the youth that were housed there looked like us.
Absolutely.
So me being a mental health specialist there, it is a contract for me, and I served in a consulting role. I think that is very vital because the youth needed to see more people like us so that they can understand, or that there's people that understand their plight, where they're going. There's people that understand that their struggle that they had to endure. But also, just like that image that you showed, the guy who was arrested 3 times and now was the youngest judge in the state of Pennsylvania, that you can live a different life if you choose to aspire to do just that. And so with people that's uplifting like you and your podcast, Mr. Bratcher running several organizations throughout the state, myself being in mental health and having private practice, I think that it's very vital that we can show them that we all can be entrepreneurs. All of us on this call out entrepreneurs. And regardless of the background that we came from, we're 3 living legends in our various industries.
Yeah.
And so that can be evidence for them that they too can do whatever they want to do if they choose to. Again, going back to that inspiring to aspire.
Absolutely. Bratcher?
I'm gonna look at it from a different perspective. I'm actually gonna look at it from a staffing perspective, man. And
Yeah, stay that close. You sound clear when you right there.
when I'm right there, okay, I'm gonna look
Yeah.
at it from a staffing perspective. Is that better? All right, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, just oh.
But I think the benefit, and this coming from somebody, man, like, even though I'm a state director, I'm boots on the ground, like I'm in the programs, living it with the kids in the back, right, 24/7. Why that's a good thing, because that allows me to be, I guess, so successful at what I do. However, I'm so engulfed in the day to day, man. There's things that I don't see, that, like, when I bring a Jared in, and Jared, not to toot his horn, man, Jared do a lot of training for me, and Jared can come in and almost say some of the same things that I say, the same concepts, but he says so differently that my staff is gonna listen to Jared before they even listen to me, even though they know that I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it. However, man, I got a YY patch on my shirt, so I'm doing it for the company based on them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Jared is an outsider. He's an outside entity. Jared don't have no bias. You know what I mean? Of course,
Right.
he's getting compensated for doing the training, but however, they're not looking at him like a YY employee. You know what I mean? So they're quicker to listen to Jared before they listen to me. So again, long as I surround myself with people that still got the same concepts and still trying to get the same outcomes that I want to achieve, I love to bring in other entrepreneurs, and whether it's contractors, whether it's
You
yeah,
ain't
what the
brought
word,
me in yet. Go ahead.
what you say?
I said you haven't
I'm
brought me.
I'm working on.
I know
I
you
told
are.
you, I'm
know you
proud of you, but you still got some ways to go. Now I gotta see how consistent you are now.
are. Boy, please. I hear
I,
you. But
I,
can I piggyback on what you were saying though?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's just like going to church. And I know you don't go, but maybe Jared understands.
I went to Church's Chicken yesterday, and I got me a 2-piece. So you're a lie.
Oh, church. Okay, my bad.
Ain't no churches in Nashville no more.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, it is. There's one out there by Bellevue.
I'm in Knoxville.
He in Knoxville anyway.
Oh, well.
Stop trying to bump for him, bro.
But anyway, what I was gonna say is, what your point about them not receiving the same thing you've been talking about, but Jared come in, then they like get it. It's no different than a church. You could be your pastor could be saying the same thing over and over and over again, but when you go to some other church and you hear the exact same stuff, it makes sense to them all of a sudden. And it's not because they not saying the same word. Sometimes the delivery is different. Sometimes the approach is different. I mean, it's a lot of other things. Or plain, like you just said, it's somebody from the outside. And it's just a different perspective. And I tell people all the time, don't take that stuff as personal. As long as somebody get it, that's all that matters. You got to get out your own way sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Especially from a business perspective. If you provide all the training, because we understand that sometimes the way I communicate may not be good enough for them to get it. But if I bring a Bratcher in and Bratcher can come up with some comedic joke to make them, oh, man, I got that. Or a different application that makes sense to them, I can't get mad because they got it because Bratcher, you said it. I don't give a care as long as you got it. You know what I'm saying? So, good point.
But let me add this too, though, Woods, man. Like, I think that when it comes to, like, again, man, you want people to be the best version that they can be, right? And you people just gotta understand, man, it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong, but what you're providing to them could be the bare basics for them to be the bare person. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm going back to sports again. Man, these guys got a head coach. If you look on the bench, it's more coaches than players today. You know what I'm saying? But you think that it stops there? You think these athletes are as good as they are now just because of those coaches? Man, they got nutritionists. They got fitness trainers. They got and then some of these guys even got individual trainers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
individual chefs.
Yeah, so I look at consultation the same way, man. If you want your people to be the best versions of themselves that they can be, you're gonna have to pour into them, and it can't just be coming from you.
But you know what? I like what you just said, and this is what I tell a lot of my clients, is don't allow no one to discourage you for paying for consultation. Consultation is nothing but work therapy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you getting consultation to help you become a better worker, better leader, better executive, man, do what you got to do to make you better. Don't let nobody discourage you. And,
Right.
and the same thing I said, don't let nobody discourage you from therapy. I got something for you all. Carla states she has been boots on the ground in this industry, and it said, how do you prevent compassion fatigue? How do you compete? How do you prevent compassion fatigue? And how do you identify this in your staff?
So I will say that you have to be able to know yourself, Miss Carla. Um, know what your highs and your lows are. When you feel like you are your engine is running hot internally because you're pouring so much into it, you might have to scale back a little bit. And you realize that you're kind of vacillating back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm giving all I got, and then if I come
What was the word
retract,
you just used? You used
vacillate,
vacillating.
not Vaseline, vacillate.
Go ahead, Jared.
Hey, vacillate said, thank you, sir. I don't have a PhD or a fake doctor like yourself, but
Did you just say fake doctorate? Well,
I'm just joking, Dr. Wood. Don't kick me out. Don't kick me
I was
out.
there. I was there. It's real.
Hey, he real, Carl. He real. I just joke with him. Actually, I got that from a client. Vacillate. I got it from a client.
That's a good word usage, brother.
I did. I give him credit. I can't tell you who he is. He's my client. But anyway, just monitoring yourself and knowing when you're running too high or too low. The compassion that you have. If you're pouring more into your clients, if you're pouring more into the youth, if you're pouring more into the staff than you're receiving, excuse me, you're giving too much of yourself. The crazy thing is, I tell people, I use the idea of when you get on a plane, because we all want to help people. We all want to help people. But when you get on the plane, the steward or stewardess tells you in the event that there's a breach there and you need your oxygen mask, the mask will be deployed and you are to put it on your face first before you help out anyone else.
Correct.
You are to put the mask on your face because you could actually pass out trying to help out your children or trying to help out the elderly while trying to help them out. You need to make sure that you are taken care of first. This is not selfishness. This is self-care.
Absolutely.
So, Carla, you have to make sure that you're engaging in enough self-care. I give, but still have enough left for myself. If I pour everything that I have into you, who's there to pour into me?
And I always look at things from a relationship perspective. Work is interchangeable. And I think that's a very important piece, is that you have to allow, as you continue to pour into people, you got to allow yourself to be poured into as well. Because if not, you're going to be empty. You can't help nobody. Very good point. But the second part of that was, how do you identify compassion fatigue in your staff? I'll let you have that one, Bratcher.
And actually, that's funny that you asked that second part and threw it to me, because I was going to kind of touch on that anyway. Jerry gave some great tips. I'm gonna have to steal that one about I don't think you made that up. I'm gonna find out where you got that from about the airplane and all that. That was pretty dope.
If you get on the airplane enough, you find out for yourself.
Hey, the first airplane was invented in Clarksdale, Mississippi, FYI. But
not the first one, just the movie centers. And Rick Ross and Nate Dogg.
So I was gonna add that is that, man, like, you can do a lot of self-care and be self-aware, but however, man, you really want to work somewhere where your employer can have tools to identify that as well, man. Like, sure. I'm telling you, man, as an employer, man, like, I make my people take PTO. You know what I'm saying? I try to develop that relationship where you don't want to have a personal relationship with all your employees, but you want to have a relationship enough where you could tell that Jerry walking different today. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Something off about Jerry. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, man, it don't take but I'm telling you, going back to how we was raised versus how our kids are raised, staff are different than they were a long time ago. And now, man, you ask staff one question, man, they'll pour their whole life out to you. You be like, damn, I didn't want to know all of that. You know what I'm saying? But all it takes is a simple question for somebody to feel like you're genuine, and then you can, kind of know when people are going through something personal, professional, whatever. So I think that, just kind of paying attention to cues if somebody is moving different than they was moving yesterday. It's not really hard to identify. You can look and see how people dress. I mean, you can watch the way that people dress. Like, man, Jerry not dressing. I don't know why I keep using you for example. You right next to me, Jerry. You know what I'm saying? He's not dressing the same. Man, Woods ain't shaved in a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's simple things that you can pay attention to know that your people, your staff are going through something, man. And I just challenge myself and my staff, man. Like, I call it a cigarette break, man. Like, everybody don't smoke cigarettes, but there's something that you can do to take that break away from what you do and get a, I guess a refresher, man. My staff know me around 5 or 6 o'clock every day. Leave me alone because I'm gonna go put some bets in. That's my cigarette break. I'm telling you, give me about 20 minutes to put my breaks in. I'm gonna be back to put my bets in, and I'll be back there to do what I'm doing, and I'll be refreshed. Like, that's what refreshes me. People got to know what refreshes them. Everything that works for me don't work for Woods, and what works for Woods don't work for Jerry. But it's about paying attention, man, to people.
Let me tell you why that's very important. When I was at DCS 2nd Avenue, man, I as a team coordinator, man, I used to say, as a team leader, team coordinator, both of them, I used to be like, man, these people that smoke show to take a lot of smoke breaks around here. And then, and my thing is, I'm not a hater. But I'm like, okay, well, you go take you a smoke break. Even though I wasn't smoking, I didn't smoke, but whatever that smoke break time is, that 15 minutes for that smoke break, 10 minutes, if you don't do them, go outside and get you a breather.
Yeah.
And come on back in. So that's a very good analogy, Bratcher. I'm proud of it. I was already doing it anyway.
Gotcha. And I still want to make sure, even, Bratcher was talking about, and I agree with him, especially if you have a supervisor that is as engaging as he is, because he is a boots on the ground. I'm glad he didn't do the little dance with boots on the ground when he said that. I thought his fan finna come out, man. I thought his fan finna come out, caller. But to answer more so directly your question about how do you know about the compassion fatigue, when you feel like you're just being drained, you have to be able to emotionally regulate yourself. When you feel like you've poured out so much of you, you realize that you will be fatigued. It's because of the compassion that you have for this industry and for the kids. But you still have to, as Dr. Wood said earlier, have something, conserved for yourself, or reserved rather for yourself. And so I can pour into them, but make sure that they're at least attempting to match what you're pouring out into them. They can't. I don't believe in a 50-50, just like in relationships with their significant other. I believe in 100-100. If you can't give your 100 today, I still need to give my 100.
Yeah.
That doesn't take away from me giving my full 100. But you have to realize, Carla, if you're constantly giving your 100 and this person is constantly giving you 0, then now is the time to slowly but surely pull back a little bit.
Just like a relationship, you got to work.
Yeah.
The workplace. Some people gonna take as much as you gonna give.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with that, this brings me to this picture right here. So this is perfect timing.
That's the dude from Get Out, ain't
it? Hey, brother looks stressed, burnout. He looks all the above. What's your thoughts when you see this picture? The first thing that comes to your mind.
He looks stressed and burnt out. And he like the dude from Get Out.
He looked like I look when I lost my bet. Yeah.
Just overworked, overstressed, overwhelmed. Anything over.
everything over.
Yeah.
Except for the over and under when Bratcher bet the wrong way.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Well, I got one more for you all. That this is something that a lot of our community people, as you know, we continue to get good jobs and move on in life. What's your thoughts from transitioning from the inner city to the suburban life?
Man, I'm gonna tell you this earlier when we was talking about our kids and how we raise our kids, and I think Woods, you mentioned it takes a village, and you know, Jerry, you nodded your head, and I grew up in that same village, man. My mom and dad was both from the same neighborhood, you know, so I grew up in Riverside, South Memphis. All my aunties and uncles, everybody that lived on every street in my neighborhood, whatever. My son and daughter is not gonna be afforded that, man, because
Right.
as you grow, you know, you make money, you move out. And the community is different. So, you know, people holler, it takes a village and community, but the community is not the same community as it
No,
was
Right.
when I
it's,
grew up. You know what I mean? So
it's
it's again, it's one of those gifts and curses. You know what I'm saying? Like my son can't just run up and down the street and got a million friends like I grew up with. And you know,
Right.
you have people that say, man, why don't your son get out and go out? But he didn't. We want him to move like I moved when I was younger, but my environment was totally different than his environment right now. You know, we don't even know half our neighbors. You know, I know a few of our neighbors, but is that his fault? No, that's, you know, the way that I think that's one of those necessary flaws to grow.
Mm-hmm. Man, where I'm from in northern Mississippi in the Delta, home of the blues, uh, I feel like we were the city because the smaller towns around us came to us. We had all the grocery stores, we had the shopping, we had all this and that. It wasn't until I moved to the city, the real city, that I realized we were not the city. But I had a city mindset. And so I wanted to get away from the city. Actually, my wife wanted to move out of the city. Uh, and so we can have kind of like humble beginnings, especially with our kids. So our kids weren't raised necessarily the way my wife and I were raised. I have some of those same traditions in which I talk to all my neighbors, especially my immediate neighbors, and I want my kids to kind of grow up similar to the way that I did, but I understand that there's a difference. So I adopted this idea of having a happy medium in which the neighbors that I'm closer with, I want to make sure that my kids are closer with their kids. But it's not like my kids have to befriend all of the kids in the neighborhood. Because I knew every kid in the neighborhood when I grew up. I can go to anybody's house and any parent could consequence me just like my parents could. So the whole it takes a village to raise a child. Oh man, Mr. Horton down the street, he can whoop me just like my parents would, but then I get another whooping when I go home.
you better not get a whooping.
Right.
That was the
Right,
whole
right,
point.
right.
Yeah.
So I ain't trying to get in trouble at his house because he can discipline me and my folks can discipline me. The rules that apply to my house apply to everybody else's house.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you something. When my kids was growing up, and people can tell you, I used to tell them, if your child cannot be chastised, whooped, or whatever in my house, you need to take them back home. They can't spend the night.
Right.
They can't spend the
Red
night.
Rods for the child.
Let me tell you why. We had about 15, 16 kids to stay the night one time, and this one little girl decided to play on the phone and call 911. So, you know, police came and everything want to come in the house, and no, you don't need to come in the house because we got this. But at the same time, the mom was on a hot date. She ain't been on a hot date for a while. And my wife at the time called the mom and told the mom, you need to come get your child. And she was like, well, but I just left. She said, yeah, but your daughter just called 911. We can't whoop her. You need to come get her. And that messed up her day. I do apologize. But see, that type of behavior, that don't go on in our house. It's certain things
Right.
you just don't do. But that type of behavior was acceptable in her home.
Right.
So she came back mad and all because her date was mad. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Had your child had some discipline, you would have had a wonderful date.
Right.
So,
All together, man. Just looking at where you're from and where you're living today, I think times have just changed. When you're looking at the crime rate,
Yeah,
um, just the lifestyle in general. I'm not easing on down the road or moving up with the Jeffersons or anything like that, but it's just different, man. Um,
hey, you gonna cover your
Expectation.
What? I missed it. What you say? What you say, Woods?
Hey, you play so much, man.
What did he say? He said something funny. I can't believe it.
you coughed, and I said, "Dang, you ain't gonna cover your mouth."
Uh,
Hey, he say in the room by
I'm by
himself, man.
myself, man. What up?
Hey, he can spread
You
his
got the
COVID to
world looking
himself,
at you.
bro. He can spread his COVID to himself.
There you go.
But the point I'll make, man, I think times are just different, man. But even like me moving here to Tennessee, because I'm not from Tennessee. I'm not from the Nashville area, even though I live in the Nashville area now. The crime rate here is ridiculous in comparison to where I'm from. Uh, but looking at the inner city versus the suburban area, my wife wanted to move outside of the Davidson County, and I'm like, I'm cool with that. I really didn't like that at first because I'm more of an extrovert and I want to be around my people. But when I moved outside, I'm like, this is cool. For me, it's the best of both worlds. I still
Yeah.
can have an inner city mentality and not be too far from the city, but also my parents are from like the country. So I have a smaller, similar, country lifestyle. We ain't got no horses and cows like my parents did, but just the openness out here. Uh, I don't want to have to worry about gunshots like the inner city as much. The crime rate is still up there, but it's not nearly as high as the inner city. And so, in raising my kids, going back to being a dad in today's society, I think that my lifestyle and the way I raise my son is still gonna be different than my dad raising me and my brother and my sister. In a inner city, the mindset just shifts because of the environment that we're in.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna give a couple more things. We're gonna wrap it up. Work-life balance. Tell me one thing you do to help yourself with work-life balance.
Me, man, even though in my role it's kind of difficult because my phone is attached to my hip and I gotta answer the phone. But if I got a project or something to do that's high priority and it's 7 o'clock, man, I mean it can wait till tomorrow. I used to have a mindset of it gotta be done, and used to be one of the ones that worked until I fell asleep. But I promise you that email that you didn't send at 6 o'clock p.m. It can wait to 6 a.m. the next day. So that's one of the things that I've been instilling. Now I'm gonna answer my phone for my people. But as far as those tasks, it can wait till the next day.
Right. Um, just finding a hobby. I'm very active with my fraternity. Uh, Try to spend a lot of time with my family. I like playing card games. From like I said, teach my kids skip-ball today. And I like playing poker and dominoes, anything like that, man. Just to pass time, watching movies. Uh, I saw Sinners yesterday, which was focused on Clarkston, Mississippi. uh, Bratcher loves that city there. But
Mm.
I just find things that I like to do for me. I spend time with my wife, spend time with my kids, man. But I make sure that I do something just for me because I make sure I do individualistic stuff. I don't go to the gym, but I got a little muscle booster workout on my phone. So that way I can, improve my health,
When you gonna
physical
start
health.
using it?
I've already started, sir. Great question. Great question. Great question. Great question.
Oh, shots fired.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Come run up and get done up though. That's the inner city life. I just live in suburban.
Well, here we
Uh,
go. All right.
yeah.
Now, let's leave the audience with a comment. Anyone else? Leave the audience with some inspirational thoughts.
I
Don't
thought we
worry
started
about
with the
the
Cash
banner.
App.
Leave
I
the
thought we
audience.
started.
Don't worry about the banner. Leave the audience with an inspirational thought, man.
Just in general, man, just all of us should continue to lift as we climb. So as we transcend to the next level and we're trying to do better for ourselves, since we was talking about something for the kids, Dr. Woods, we want to make sure that we leave them in a better place than where they started. So as we continue to climb to the next level in our life, we continue to bring them up. We want to be the opposite of crabs in a barrel. We want to make sure that we are lifting them up as we are climbing.
All right, Bratcher.
I can dig that. Did we lose Woods? You want
No,
to keep on going, Woods? Your Wi-Fi not working.
Well, will you come on here?
Or is it me?
It's just you, bro.
Nah, that's you, Bratcher.
Okay. My Wi-Fi not working. My hotel Wi-Fi not working. All right. I'm be real short to the point, man, and not that I'm on no health kick, but just piggybacking off what Jerry said about the working out and all that, man. Health is wealth. I never understood that saying, but for real, the older I'm getting, man, like really start taking care of yourself for real, because health is wealth, man. You can't get wealthy if you ain't healthy. You know what I'm saying? And just going back to like how we were raised versus what's going on today. It's so much crazy stuff going on in the world today. Like in the past, I think you could just drink some orange juice and do a few push-ups and you'll be straight. Nah, man, you gotta go get checked out, go to the doctor, because it's so much crazy stuff going on, man. So health is wealth, man. You can't be wealthy if you're not healthy.
Yeah, or you can't enjoy that wealth for long.
Yeah,
due to a lack of health, right?
Yeah, due to lack of health. But you know, man, let me tell you why I like that piece, Bratcher, is because for me, man, I've really been doing a lot to get my weight down, and not only get my weight down, but to make sure I'm healthy. You know, I want to be one of them type people to take care of me before the doctor say you need this medication, you need that medication, you need this medication. And then ultimately, as you start getting older, you don't know nothing about that yet, Bratcher. You still in your 30s. But you start getting older, man. I had this conversation with a couple of guys. It's good when guys get together, man. You start talking about likeness of certain things, man. We got talking, and this is about 4 or 5 years ago, man. We said, I ain't never seen a 300-pound 70-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we both, we all sitting there thinking, even though we were just throwing stuff out there, but we was for real, man. I ain't never seen a 70-year-old 300-pounder. I'm sure there's something out there. I just said I haven't seen.
You haven't seen, right?
And my thing is, I don't want to.
I ain't either, bro.
I ain't trying to beat the example, but I will tell y'all when I get to 299.9, I'm gonna post a picture because I think I'm the sexiest thing over 300. But when I get to 299.999, I'm just gonna say I'm the sexiest man alive. Just period. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
The show went left.
That's my closing remarks. All right, y'all. We gotta get out of here. I want to thank Jared Prentiss for being in the house. I want to thank Mr. Bratcher. He's got a business coming called Brick by Brick. Coming to us soon.
Speak on it.
Yeah, I'm on it, man. Because Jerry got his business. I don't know why he ain't told nobody. Jerry, how can people contact you if they need your services?
So my email address is office@Prentiss, PrentissPrentissCAC.com. That is Prentiss Counseling and Consulting. So office@PrentissCAC.com. My phone number is 615-669-5605. I have I don't have a website. I have a link to my portal. But if you just email me or call me, I am the therapist. I'm the president. I am the janitor. I do it all.
Him.
So
Him.
yeah. So I
That's what's
take
up.
care of it all, but I make sure that I have a little self-care in between as well.
All right, Mr.
So
Bratcher, for somebody that's looking for a job, you want to tell them how they can reach you?
Man, I don't know if I messed up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Just
yeah,
go
we
ahead.
can hear
I
you.
don't know, I
I
don't
Okay,
know
can
what
see
sit
you
you.
got
down.
going on. Just talk.
Well, my company is Youth Opportunity Investment. So if you're looking to do residential work, man, you can go on LinkedIn, you can go on Indeed and look for anything up on the Youth Opportunity Investments. And I promise you, I guide you in the right direction.
That's what's up, man. I want to thank you guys for coming on today. And always remember, as we get up out of here, always remember, excuse me, I look gassy. I said, excuse me, Mr. Bratcher. Always
Yes.
remember, small victories lead to great. What is wrong with this man? Small victories lead to greater success. I am Dr. Woods, and you have just been hit by the raw approach. Peace out, y'all.